Hello, everybody. This talk is Spark, Why Composability Matters. So let's get into it. First, who am I? I'm Sam MacPherson. I'm co-founder and CEO of Phoenix Labs. I've been an Ethereum fan since 2017, DeFi user since 2018, Maker Core Dev from 2020 to 2023, and most recently a Spark contributor from 2023 onward. So let's start with a big question. Why are we here? Maybe it's for the gains, maybe it's for the memes, maybe it's just for the friends we make along the way. For me, at least, one of the main reasons that I'm here is to empower the individual. Now, you may ask, why does this matter? It matters because there's this ever-present tension between governments and individuals, where governments have this top-down authority, individuals are more of a bottom-up emergent thing as well. So this tension exists, and it's important because there's always this natural tendency for things to consolidate and centralize and move towards, the power naturally shifts towards governments on the one side. So it's important to supply individuals with as much tools as possible to make sure this power balance is always balanced. So some of the tools that governments use is fiat currencies. So fiat currencies allow governments to regressively tax unsophisticated actors via inflation. Another issue is with the banking system, where banks extract value from low information customers. Not everybody even has access to banks. This is the world's unbanked. So here's a little bit of an oversimplified version of the way things work. So governments, with the invention of fiat currencies, allow governments to run liabilities much, much higher than their assets, and they've used this to scale up. And while this is useful for scaling, it carries with it the problem of inflation. And normally this is kept at, they target like 2% inflation in modern times, but sometimes when the deficits are very large, you get issues with inflation like we're seeing now. And now we're in the next phase of this, where the monetary policy tools that the government has available are rate hikes. And so we see this take the place of, the form of rate hikes, and everybody's holding cash is great, like, oh, awesome, I'm getting all this extra yield on my cash. Then this is a tool to fight inflation. And so banks wrap this up, they hold T-bills as their assets, and then they expose this to people in the form of money market funds. And so you see the monopoly man on the top, he, as the sophisticated actor, is able to get protection from inflation by holding hard assets, or going into these money market funds. And the people who are holding cash, the unsophisticated actors, maybe people just don't have access, their purchasing power is eroded over time. But so we see examples of this in like Argentina and Turkey, but really this is the end state of all fiat currencies. It's just a matter of how long it takes. The temptation to print money is just too high by the governments in charge. And we just reached this end state where cash becomes more and more undesired by the population. Governments will eventually put in capital controls, force citizens to use the country currency to try and boost demand. Money market funds provide shielding for sophisticated actors and businesses. And really, the ones who lose the most out of all of this is the unbanked. And for example, in Argentina, about 50% of the population is unbanked. And so they have this extra taxation against them. And what this manifests as is it just facilitates this flight to safety via centralization. We see it within the countries. For example, in the US, when there was the banking crisis last year, you see all the money consolidating into these GSIP banks. This is the too big to fail banks. And then you see this even within between countries as well, where everybody is piling into the US dollar. You see it like Latin America, like people prefer the US dollar because it's just this pile of cash where everybody's going into, and because everybody's going into it, it provides this extra degree of safety. So this isn't great. I mean, how do we fight back? And really, access is the key. It's not going to solve everything, but we want to subscribe everybody to the risk-free rate of the currency, so to mitigate some of these effects. Governments still increase rates. Inflation is still a problem. It doesn't solve all the things, but at least now you are no longer taxing poor people disproportionately. So now everybody has access to this currency that is receiving the base yield, as opposed to just US dollar cash, which gets eroded more rapidly. And DeFi democratizes access. We can see this last year, the emergence of T-bill products going from basically zero to now approaching $1 billion. And the growth has been accelerating with new players on the scene, such as BlackRock. You see the gray there more recently. This market has just been booming, and this is in the underlying thing that's driving this is people want access to this yield. They do not want to give it up to the issuer. So savings DAI is kind of a little bit of a unique product here in that the DAI savings rate is actually above the TradFi risk-free rate. So currently it is 8%. Maker targets a 25% cash reserve right now. This is in liquid stablecoins such as USDC, such that it can maintain high liquidity, while still targeting this yield that is ideally going to be bigger than the US dollar risk-free rate, because it has access, Maker has access to the DeFi yield as well. So far, total deposits into the DSR are 2.1 billion, so it's a fairly big product. You may ask yourself, the past few years I think have taught crypto a valuable lesson in, there's yield, where's the yield coming from? It's very important to know this. The yield should be sustainable and being paid by actual people in a sustainable way. So, savings DAI yield sources. First and foremost, the base yield is provided by short duration treasury bills. This really should be the yield that any US dollar stablecoin is providing by default. Users who are depositors into these instruments are taking most of the risk, and they should be rewarded for that risk. So SDAI provides this base yield by default. Now, if DeFi happens to be yielding more, and in bull markets it often does, we can shift some of the backing into DeFi lending. This is lending operations such as Maker Core vaults, Sparklend. These are the kind of things that you're used to how Maker was founded, where you lock up your ETH or LSTs or whatever, and then you borrow DAI, you pay that stability fee, and that's the fee that's going to SDAI holders. So yeah, this is for DeFi native crypto lending. More recently, we see products coming on chain like Athena that allow access to the centralized exchange perp yield. So this is more generally, this is the cash and carry trade where you go long on, say, ETH, and then you short the perps, and it allows you to take out a delta neutral hedge position. Now, I mean, this is nothing new, but what is new is that Athena has tokenized this, such that it can be used quite easily as collateral in DeFi. So Maker has been able to tap into this. And the great thing about this is centralized exchanges, DeFi is still relatively small. Centralized exchanges are at least an order of magnitude bigger. So this is a huge amount of yield source that Maker can source here. And so let's look at the Maker collateral portfolio over the years. So this is since the inception of DAI in 2019 over here. You can see that the orange here, this is crypto leverage. So this is the backing of DAI that is filled by users who are taking out leverage, usually on ETH, but also Bitcoin. You can see around 2020, this is a Black Thursday event here, when DAI started trading above $1, and the peg stability module was onboarded right around here in order to bring the price of DAI back down to $1. And so this is really the only way to scale a stablecoin, is you do have to back it with centralized stablecoins. So it was added here, and then there's the bull market 2021, and the total aggregate DAI demand briefly touched 10 billion, but then came back down, and you see the demand for leverage just cratered. Right around here, Maker was receiving a lot of criticism for just being wrapped USDC, and it was not entirely unfounded, but I mean, this was never to be the end state of things. The plan is always to rotate this into T-bills. And so you see at the beginning of 2023, this is the green here, this is the T-bill, direct T-bill exposure of the balance sheet. So Maker rotated these stable coins into yield-bearing T-bills, which then it forwards the yield on to users via SDAI. And then more recently, you see, here's the bull market from the past few months. And then this little bit of blue here, this is the new market. This is Athena exposure here, where Maker gets exposure to the cash and carry trade. And even this small amount here is able to provide pretty massive returns. So let's talk about the power of composability. So first and foremost, you get ease of access. This is, if you want to go into a savings DAI, it's as easy as using your favorite exchange and you swap whatever asset you want, and then you just have access. Integrations is another huge benefit. So with these tokenized yield-bearing stablecoins, you can use them as collateral in lending markets or DEXs, and you just get this extra level of capital efficiency. And this leads to the third point, reducing opportunity costs for LPs. So in DEXs, if you are market making with USDC or USDT, there is this implied opportunity cost that you have to deal with, where you are not receiving the risk-free rate, you are forfeiting that to the issuer. And so to reduce the barriers here, SDAI, we want to forward this yield to the users to get improved capital efficiency within DeFi. So we can run over some use cases for SDAI. So this is the first use case that we got, which is that was somewhat big, and this is lending. So you can use SDAI as collateral to take out loans of ETH and Bitcoin. This is useful for hedging or shorting or whatever you want to do, and because you're using SDAI as collateral instead of, say, USDC, you get this nice DSR yield on top that you can rely on, which is great. So this has been onboarded into Sparkland as well as Aave, and it's proven to be a pretty popular product. Additionally, in DEXs, so due to the 25% cash reserve with USDC, you can treat SDAI pretty similarly to USDC. Maker holds these large cash reserves to ensure redeemability is available in most cases. And then you can use this for further pairing with stable coins or other assets or whatever. So, and then the market makers are able to receive this yield instead of, again, forfeiting it to the issuer. And then third use case, savings. This is the most common use case where you just want a yield on your cash, and so SDAI is a perfect place to park your funds there. And whenever you need to pay somebody, or exit into fiat, you can swap out to USDC whenever you need. So here's a chart of SDAI usage since it was was launched at the beginning of 2023, but it became popular around August of 2023. So we see the vast majority of the use case, the gray and even the green. These are EOA wallets, and then Treasury is the green. So these are people using it as a savings product. And it's perfect for like businesses or individuals who are just holding cash and they want this. They do not want to forego this extra yield. You can see the purple at the top. This is the lending usage. So this is SDAI as collateral. So there's been some nice usage there. And then more recently, you have DEX, the blue sort of to the top right here. This has been kind of growing steadily. This is usage of SDAI as pairs in DEXs. And so at Phoenix Labs, one of the products that we've just released is called Cash and Savings. And the goal of this is to make it easy to get in and out of SDAI, dealing with things like the ERC 4626, the fact that the units are not rebasing, kind of a pain for users. You don't think like this, so we are extracting this away such that you can swap your idle cash into savings DAI, and then when you want to exit, you can exit at size. And so I'm announcing now, a few days ago, we just released this product. It's on mainnet. We released it on Gnosis chain as well. So you can get in and out of sexy DAI, which is awesome. So here you have an example of the withdrawal page. And so you can keep your money in SDAI, earning that yield. And then the minute you need to pay somebody, you need to pay a provider or whatever, you need to pay them some specific amount. You can exit 10,000, and then it does all the calculations for you and facilitates the swaps through Maker core infrastructure. And due to the PSM and the liquidity, Maker offers one-to-one swaps with USDC at the scale of hundreds of millions of dollars. So if you need to exit with 100 million, like right now, you can do it. So where is this all going? We want SDAI, and then the rebranded version when that's out, to be the savings account of DeFi. And so the next steps we're going to be taking is ensuring that you have access at scale to the DSR through SDAI on all of these chains. So users can feel confident that when they have cash on these chains in USDC, they can swap it into SDAI, get that yield, and whenever they're ready to pay providers or exit or whatever else, the liquidity is there, and Maker will ensure that one-to-one swap is there. Other integration we're looking at, we're very, very excited about things such as Gnosis Pay, these non-custodial Visa cards, where people can pay for things. So you hold your idle cash in SDI, and then right when at the point of you make a purchase, you can then move it out into the Gnosis Pay Visa system. So this is very exciting development. So really, we want people to think about Spark as your self-sovereign digital bank. You can hold your cash in SDI, you make purchases with Gnosis Pay, and you take loans with SparkLend. And so you may ask yourself, we're starting to reach a point where, do you really even still need a bank? And this is exactly where we want to go. So, thank you.